Okay, this is my venture guide. I went from gold to masters in like a week and a half with around a 70% win rate, somewhere around there. And they're a pretty easy character. You just have to know how to play them, who to focus, when to run away, especially is a big one, and just how to land shots. I feel like that this character was probably a little easier for me to learn how to play, just because I was a Hanzo player, and Venture also shoots projectiles, so it's a little easier for me to pick up. But let's start with the abilities. Primary fire is just a little ball that you shoot at short distances. It does AoE damage, not a lot of AoE damage at all. It's very small AoE damage. But if you direct impact somebody, it's 80 damage. That's some good damage. Your secondary fire, or drill dash, is it does knockback. You can fly with it for some reason. I don't know why that's in the game. And it can be used for pretty much an insta-kill combo. Primary fire, drill dash. Primary fire does kill most squishies in the game, and any other squishy can be killed with a primary fire, drill dash, primary fire, melee, and that will kill them. It kills anybody with 300 HP or less, I believe. So, very strong abilities. Burrow, I feel like people are saying this ability is broken when it really isn't. It's basically a Reaper Wraith, but instead of having a frame 1 invulnerability, it takes time to use, but you get health from it. Me personally, I think that a good nerf for this character would be to, in order for them to gain shields, they have to actually hit somebody, similar to Doomfist. That's definitely a nerf that I could see happening, and probably should happen. So the ult, again, this is something I feel like people say is really good when it really isn't. If you have a shield on your team and you're playing against a Venture, their ult is pretty much useless. When they use the ult, they can't use their primary fire, so they can only hit you if you are on the ground, like within 20 meters. So it's an overhyped ult. I feel like the ult itself could definitely use some buffs. Maybe like slow down how fast you get the ult, and then buff the damage a little bit, and slightly buff the fire rate as well. Those are what I would do for the abilities. But the one thing that you're going to need to know how to do is the primary fire, drill dash, primary fire, insta-kill. That's going to be your main way to get value on this character. So what I like to do is, I like to play them like pre-Season 9 Junkrat. Hide in the enemy backline, jump out of nowhere, pick off a support, dig on the ground, and run away. I mean, you can do that in so many different ways. I mean, I'm playing in Masters lobbies, and I'm still getting away with it like 99% of the time. The only time that I really don't get away with it is when I do the same thing like 4 times in a row, then they catch on, and then I probably end up getting punished. But even then, if they don't have a stun, I don't get punished for it. So good target prio for this character would be anybody that's not a Bastion, Reaper, or Mei, and obviously not a tank. If they have like a BAP or an Ana, you're obviously going to want to pick the Ana over the BAP, just because BAP has so much survivability. Just know who to kill. You can win some 1v1s against Reapers and Meis. It just depends on how good you are and how good the Reaper or Mei is. So it's like a 50-50. I would say don't go for it unless you think you can win. But never go after a Bastion. You're going to lose that 1v1 every time. You just don't have enough damage output for that, it's fine, it makes sense. Knowing when to run away is a big thing. If more than 2 people on the enemy team are looking at you when you are in the enemy backline, you need to run immediately. You just dip. Just because I feel like the only time that you're going to be able to get value when more than 2 people are looking at you is if you end up dying in the process, which in most circumstances is not worth it. Now, I've seen people play Venture like a poke character, like they were playing them on the front lines and just like shooting at the tank. Like, that is not how you play this character. If you are playing a Venture like that, stop, because that's not how they're played. They're a dive character, right? So you go on the enemy backline, and in my opinion, Venture has some of the best kill potential in the entire game. A low skill, pretty much insta kill. So stop shooting the tank. Like when I'm playing Victor, I hardly ever shoot at the tank. The only time I'm shooting at the tank is if it's like the very start of a fight, and we're on attack, or if they're like the only one alive. This character is too good at picking off squishies for you to be shooting at the tank pretty much any time. So stop doing that. It's not worth it. It will never be worth it with this character. If you want to shoot at the tank, go someone like Bastion, or Sojourn, or Hanzo, right? Not Venture. Another thing that you have to be good at on Venture is baiting out abilities and knowing that it's okay to run away after you bait those abilities. You shouldn't be killing yourself to try and secure a kill. That's just not how you should be playing this character in most circumstances. Even if you don't get a kill, most of the time you are baiting out abilities and you are getting the enemy team to turn around, which is creating space for your team. Which, you know, that's huge value. If your team can't capitalize on you baiting abilities and getting the enemy team to turn around, then, I don't know, your team is brainless and that's just unfortunate. GG next. Another thing Venture is really good at is high ground control. So your drill dash gives you so much high ground mobility, like it is ludicrous how high you can get with that thing. Like you can get up to the second point Dorado high ground from the lowest point, I believe, or like the castle on Eichenwald from just like a slightly up the hill when it's slanted a little bit. You can get up from there. It gives you so much mobility that you should be trying to control the high ground as best you can. Even though you have to use your ability to get up to that high ground most of the time, just go somewhere, just either get there before the enemy team is there, right? So like on Eichenwald, as soon as you cap that point, you should be going up there to the castle and trying to get on that high ground before the enemy team can. And then by the time they get there, your ability is recharged, and you could probably get a pick and then just run away. That's how you should play that point. Even though Eichenwald is not a great Venture map, you can at least guarantee that you will win the next fight after you cap first point. Same thing with Dorado, although it's a lot harder on Dorado just because that high ground is really big. So trying to traverse that high ground before the enemy team gets up there is a little difficult. But Eichenwald especially, King's Row, you just control the high ground on this character. It provides so much value. Even if you don't like being on the high ground, just not allowing the enemy team to have that high ground, it helps your team a lot. It's a lot easier to kill somebody who is not on high ground than it is to kill somebody who is on high ground. Just for obvious reasons. That's why high ground is good, low ground is bad. Now something else about this character is that you have to know how to be self-sustainable. Your shields do grant you a little bit of health, but you're going to need more than that, right? You can't just expect to live off of just your shields. And most of the time you're not going to be getting healed by your supports, even though you should be. I feel like if you have a Curie on your team, the Curie should be TPing to help you because Curie's a dive character. But sometimes they don't. So you're going to have to know how to live off of health packs similar to Tracer and Ball. So in conclusion, you are a dive character, not a poke character. Stop shooting at the tank. Shoot the enemy backline. Be in the enemy backline. Play in the enemy backline. You should be in there and their team most of the game. You can control high ground very well, so do it. If the enemy team is trying to control the high ground, don't let them. Especially with your drill dash as a boop, you can boop them off, right? And you know, boops are insane this season. So yeah, it's ridiculous how strong boops are. Use your ult. Don't be afraid to click your ultimate ability, right? You get it back really fast. You get it back too fast to just hold on to it. It's not good enough for you to be holding on to it all the time. So just use it. Use it whenever you can, whenever you feel like it's necessary. Just don't hold on to it for more than like a minute. Because, I mean, by then you could have had it almost again. So just don't hold on to your ult. Use it. And know how to run away. Be good at baiting abilities. Know how to run away. Know No, who target Brio? Pretty much anybody that isn't a Bastion or a tank. Try to stay away from me for a May, but if you feel like you can win that 1v1, then go for it. But I would not suggest doing that.